Well, good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, I guess, if you're on Pacific Coast time. My name is Michael Reeves, and I am one of the 28 head coaches in a Strat-o-matic football league called Strat-28, conveniently enough. And our 16-game season came to a close a couple of weeks ago. We have made our way through the playoffs, and we have one more semifinal game to go before we have a championship contest coming up. The winner of today's game, which was, it features the Las Vegas Raiders, Aaron Onderdonk. 14-2. I think was the second best record of the league here in Strat 28. Will be facing off against Zeb Strong, who coached the Baltimore Ravens to a 13-3 record this year. So it's 14-2. Las Vegas Raiders, that team belongs to Aaron, up against Zeb Strong and his 13-3 Baltimore Ravens. The game is scheduled to start at 1. It's just 1 minute after 1 p.m. here on the East Coast. So I would imagine we're going to see a game number here pretty soon. And I'm going to send a note here to everybody. Hello, do we have a game number? ? So I saw a note from Aaron here just a moment ago. He's probably communicating with Zeb and getting everything ready to roll. So while I am doing that, I'm going to hop on our website here and see if there's anything else I can share about these two clubs. Let's see what we have here. Now, coaching records that date back to 2020, and I'm sure this is going to be updated here pretty soon. Basically, Dennis is the leading coach all time, number one in terms of winning percentage. And Nathan, who coaches the Los Angeles Rams, he's also among the elite too. Brian coaches New England and lost in the quarterfinals just a few games ago. Now, Zeb, again, it hasn't been updated for a little while, is top 6 in terms of all-time coaching record. And trying to see where Aaron here is exactly. There he is. So again, this is dated back to 17, 18, 19, and 20. And at that time, he had a 25-39 record. So that's quite a turnaround for him to make his way for a chance to play for the title. And Zeb Strong has been well reputed to be a quality coach across a number of leagues. So might give the edge here to Zeb as far as playoff coaching experience, but the best record belongs to the Raiders today. So it should be an interesting matchup, made all the more interesting by the fact that the Raiders will have that very good pass defense as they are the home team at 14-2 versus Zeb, who will have the average pass defense. So that's a nice advantage to have in the back pocket and something to keep in mind. It certainly decreases the passing efficiency of Baltimore, and it does increase the possibility for a turnover ever so slightly. So, and of course, there's the other advantages to home field, not the least of which is the long gains are reduced for the visiting team. So they've thrown out a number, and we're going to jump into it here. The number is 44013. A good number to keep in mind. Good number to keep in mind as the game is prone to lockups and shutdowns. So just depending on the internet connection with the two clubs. So we're only a minute in, and it looks like Baltimore has first possession. So let's throw up a few items here on the screen. That's always a good one. And we'll put the pass rush match up there here in just a moment. So again, Baltimore, coached by Zeb Strong, 13-3, up against Aaron at 14-2. Baltimore looks to have first possession here. We're just a minute and a half in. Strat-o-matic championship for the 2023-24 season. We are using the 2022 regular season card set. And so as you can see, Patrick Mahomes is under center. I believe the Raiders quarterback is Justin Herbert from the Los Angeles Chargers. And here we go on 3rd and 6. And it's a straight up short pass completed for 12 yards and a first down. And that went to Christian Watson, his first catch of the game. So on their opening possession, Baltimore has made their way into Raider territory. 1st and 10, ball resting at the 48. We'll go back into the studio to see if anybody else is there. And if you're listening, everybody is welcome to join this broadcast. The winner of this game will play, and we'll talk about it here in just a moment. There is a short pass that is completed for 11 yards and another first down. Targeting a player that does not get a lot of receptions, a gentleman named Ricci, who this is the first I've seen of him. It looks like he is an actual fullback. Straight up blocking back there, 0-3. Not a lot of targets, I would assume, in the regular season. You look at that short pass card, it's only good on a 8 and a 10. No one's going to double team that guy, that's for sure. And he got lucky with a receiver reading that just happened to find one of his two numbers. So another first down, an inside run. This is Derrick Henry, not the dominating card that he typically has. That's a guessed run, an inside run guessed wrong. Of course, he's got that big number 50 on a 2 and short gains on 3 and 4, but the card past that is pretty pedestrian. Like most cards, you know, if you get to the edge and you guess wrong, that's where you're going to make your hay. But the star players have short gains dotted on guessed wrong throughout that 6 through 10. So Derrick Henry, not the dominating card that he had before. And there is a run up the middle, and it only picks up 1. No linebacker there to support, but it doesn't matter because the center wasn't able to make the block. The center in this case is a goose egg, a 0. And that is Lloyd Kusenberry, but never fear, next year that goes to be an elite center in the NFL, a good young center with a lot of potential. So he'll have to put up with that 0 this year, 0-3, in fact. One of the nice things about this league, we play in some 24-team leagues where it's a little bit easier to accumulate talent and kind of put together all-star teams. When you're talking about like 28 and 30, you're going to see some of these linemen, 0s. You're going to see some 3 and 2 and 1 pass blocks. Third down pass intended for Watson, incomplete. The 4 is able to make the play. So the drive's going to stop here. And let's see if we can pop through this 49-yard field goal. He sure will. That's Brandon McManus. And that goes through. And so Baltimore will get on the board here 3-0. McManus is going to kick this one into the end zone. And so the first possession for the Raiders will be on their own 25. Yeah, I'm a little thrown by this because the colors of the players are blue. And I thought maybe that was the Ravens, but no, these are the home team Raiders. Again, the benefit of the very good pass defense. Aaron, that's Aaron, the head coach, 14-2 season, second best record in the league. Only behind, I believe, the Seattle Seahawks were 15-1 this season. So 1st and 10, ball at the 25. And again, that's Justin Herbert under center. Travis Etienne, I looked at the statistics for this, over 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving. A heavy dose today of Travis Etienne. He is looking straight ahead at a fine defense here, a 3-3-4, including a 6 nose tackle and a 6 left end. Two coaches are conversing. We'll keep whatever they're saying private and wait for the result of this play. Again, the first play, line of scrimmage at the 25. That's Justin Herbert. Outside receivers, not too scary. Valdez-Scantling and Josh Palmer, more of a possession receiver. That's Hunter Hurst and Isaiah Likely, the rookie tight end from the Indianapolis Colts. That 6 nose tackle is DJ Reader from the Bengals. And that's Max Crosby, as you can see there. Hopefully the broadcast shows it. A 6'12", *1. He also has 6'4" Jermaine Pratt, Cincinnati Bengals inside linebacker. His outside guys, let's see, he's got a 4 on one. He's got a 6 on the other. That's a 6 on Scantling. And that is Ramsey. He also has a 6 back there at free safety. And that is Justin Simmons from the Denver Broncos. Now he has a 4 on Hurst. He's got a 4 on the outside. So there's a possibility you might see some flat passes headed the way of Leonard Floyd. Leonard Floyd is an asterisk pass rusher as well. And Matt Judon is an asterisk pass rusher as well. So we'll see how often some safety blitz come along. I think they're having a conversation about the tight end setup. And so Hurst is the number 1 tight end and Likely is the number 2 tight end, I guess. And I think they're having a discussion as to who should be on either side. And it might be listed on the spreadsheet that Hurst could be tight end 2 and Likely should be tight end 1, perhaps. Not sure. So these two are talking about a formation situation here. So we'll let them settle this. Again, Aaron 14-2 during the regular season. Zeb 13-3. I have the final numbers for both of these clubs. So let's see if they played each other during the regular season. There it is, 14-2. Actually, they were tied with Seattle at 14-2. So let's see if they played. Yes, they did. Hey, how about that? So in their original matchup, oh my gosh, come on, Michael, get this thing moving here. Raiders 23, Baltimore 17. Looks like it went to overtime, and Baltimore scored on a 3-yard touchdown pass from Justin Herbert to Travis Etienne. Raiders had to come back with 2 fourth-quarter scores to tie it up, and again, a winner there in overtime. Wow. In that game, Derrick Henry, 12 rushing yards. Etienne and Kelly with 84 and 65 yards. So it'll be interesting to see if they continue to use the ground game in today's matchup. So So they're still having a discussion here. This will let me get the no, still can't get the pass rush matchup. They won't let you open that up until it's like at the beginning of a series. So I think they're still trying to settle things here. So in this scenario, in the 2 tight end with Hurst as the starter, he would be guarded by a 4 and likely would be guarded by a 5. Judon, but likely would have the potential to have open shots downfield because he would be defended by Judon, who I don't know that he's going to let the dogs out on every play, but he's got a pretty fair shot of bringing the heat more often than not. And Judon and or Leonard Floyd like to have the opportunity to rush the quarterbacks. I think that's why they're questioning this. I would imagine that's the reason why. See if there's anything else we can point out about Baltimore. Curious to see the sack totals for those players. So Floyd finished with 7 sacks, Crosby with 8 this year, and Judon with 8. So you've got 3 asterisk pass rushers. We'll take a moment to see if anybody is in the studio. Okay, looks like we have looks like we've got everything settled. So now it looks like Likely has now been moved to the right tight end. So he's the TE1, and Hurst is tight end 2 for Aaron. So I guess they've settled everything. So that's 2 consecutive runs. First got the dreaded 5. The second one is a 2-yard loss. Guessed right. So ATN is stopped behind the line of scrimmage. It's 3rd down and 12. So they're going to put 3 wideouts now. And that's Allen Robinson who's made his way to the field. So Likely is that tight end. He's defended by a 4. There's 1, 2, 3 4s on the field now. Let's see. And I think ATN, is defended by Judon. So there's a pass, 4 men in the zone, incomplete. Blank on the D card. Again, it's a very good defensive card. Had it been 3 men in the zone, it would have been a receiver rating, but nonetheless, the Raiders are going to go 3 and out. And probably on more than a few occasions in this broadcast, I'm going to refer to them as Oakland or Los Angeles, still getting used to the whole Las Vegas thing. So the Raiders will take over at their own 30 after the fair catch from Braxton Berrios. The real-life Miami Dolphin, Patrick Mahomes, drove his club, but the drive was stymied at the 30-yard line, around the 30-yard line, and they drew first blood with a field goal. So they're up 3-0 here, 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. So the Raiders have a 3-4. Tyler Lockett and Christian Watson are the wideouts, and Watson is defended by a 4. There's a 5 on Lockett. So they flooded a flat. Now it depends on whether or not the nose tackle can make the play, and he does. He only needed to be a 4. He's a 5 nose tackle. Very valuable to have those 5s and 6s in your 3-4, especially when you choose not to bring a linebacker up for support. Pretty damaging when you don't, and you've got a 4 or a 0 there. It's almost always going to be a 5 to 10 yard gain. Six, 5, 6 up front. There's a run for Henry. It's guessed wrong, and that'll be enough for a first down. There's a 6-yard pickup. Is enough to move the chains. Ball at the 40. So that line includes one of the elite talents in the game in Myles Garrett, a run stuffer in Derek Brown, and Aaron Donald, 6'6", not the pass rusher, obviously, that he used to be. And again, they're 3-4, has an asterisk pass rusher in Hassan Reddick. A pitch to Henry. The defense was double teaming, so there was nobody in the long pass zone. Around the end, pick up a 5. We had an autumn wind championship game, and on more than a few occasions, we mentioned the barbell card effect where, in the middle here, Henry's card doesn't look that great. You've got a 2, a 5, a 6, a 5, and a 7. Now, you move the chains with those, right? It's the outskirts. It's those outliers, the 2, 3, 4, 11, and 12. You can see a long gain on 2, 24 and 29-yard carries on 11 and 12. So if you're going to guess wrong, minimize the damage. Hope that those numbers are in the middle. 2nd down and 4 ball to 46. Raiders already up by 3. Here is a sideline pass to Lockett, and he's going to be hauled down behind the line of scrimmage. So now it's 3rd and 5. So now linebacker containment is in play. Three wide set. More likely than not, a pass here. We'll see if it goes flat or short. Now, Mahomes has 3 end runs, but with the 3 wide set, not likely to run him. If he decided to go to the outside, I believe it's a 4-4 on one side, a 0-5. The middle is 5-4. So there's a little bit of vulnerability there. But with Mahomes, you think probably going to be a throw. Let's see if he's going to go flat or if he's going to go short. Crossing pattern to Tyler Lockett. Defense is not double teaming. It's on Mahomes' card. An interception split, but the throw falls harmlessly to the turf, and we now have 4th down and 5. So that was a dump-off pass. That was incomplete on Mahomes' card. So the Raiders catch a break there. Ball tumbles into the end zone on the punt, and they'll take over at their own 20. This is their 2nd possession. Aaron, spelled Aaron, is 14-2 in the regular season, and he has a win in the playoff series, and now is playing this Final Four contest against Zeb Strong, who's 13-3. Off tackle run, defense guesses pass. They did bring up a couple guys for support, and they were in the blitz zone. Maybe an off tackle run there might have made a difference if it would have been a draw play. And it wouldn't have made that much of a difference because you've got that nose tackle. I think it would have been a 4-yard gain there. Instead, it's a loss of 1. I did notice if he brought the outside linebackers in and maybe he bumped those inside guys out. It's hard to see here. 5 and 6. We'll have to pay attention to that. Getting kind of creative there. Either way, they left the middle open. But he brought a linebacker up for support. Bringing a whole herd of people here. It's not a safety blitz, but it is a pass rush situation. And, well, it's not because it was a run call. Unfortunately, he didn't get any benefit from that whatsoever. ATN only picks up a yard. Now, this is a pure barbell card. Your roles that are you're going to see predominantly 6, 7, and 8. 6, 7, and 8 is 16 of the 36 possible combinations. And on those, you only see a 1 and a 4 and a 7. It's when you get, again, to those boundaries that you see a 62 and a 48. And those are exactly the roles that you don't want at the opposition's 4-yard line. How often does that happen, Strat fans? Say, save those when you're at midfield, right? All right, again, 3rd and 10. No blitz here. They're double teaming Palmer. Looking for Isaiah Likely. He's defended by a 4. And that's a dump-off pass, but he doesn't get a good roll there. Instead, he only picks up 2. Defender 2 or 8. And the 4 is able to make the play. And for the second consecutive possession, Raiders go 3 and out. And here is Pinion's kick. It's a good one. It travels almost 50 yards. And a fair catch. So basically flip the field. No harm, no foul. Baltimore will have their third possession at their own 29-yard line. So the Raiders this year, 438 points, allowing only 283. Baltimore, 404 points, allowing 266. So a fumble on that play. Let's see, was it a snap fumble or Derrick Henry? Derrick Henry, with no gain on the play, fumbles, recovers his own fumble. Yep. Henry fumbles it and picks it up himself. 2nd down and 10. The winner will play for the Strat-o-matic championship. And once we get to the end of the broadcast, we'll mention who they are going to play. Here's an inside run to Henry. And nothing doing. Again, that nose tackle makes the play. An average nose tackle would have made that play with a white die 4, but you, again, 0 or 17 on that boundary number. As the 5, Derek Brown is able to make the play. Derek Brown, the Carolina Panther nose tackle. So 3rd down and 10. Both of these offenses have sputtered, not been able to get very much, if any, momentum at all. Kind of cautious. No long passes yet for either of these two clubs. And we only have 2 minutes left to go here in the first quarter. No safety blitz here. On this 3-2-6, there's a 4 back and there's a 0 back. No changes on the offensive line. That's a 0. That's a 6, a 5, and a 6. And we have a pass rusher on one side and we have a 4 on the other. Now he brings the 0 up to the middle. And the pressure is not going to get to Mahomes. They're able to defend, and a short gain dump-off pass. For 13 yards and a 1st down. Now we can open up the pass rush matchup. It took me a little while. I wish I'd seen that battle. Either way, wasn't able to get to it, get to Mahomes. They catch a break there. So 1st and 10. So Aaron took his 5 linebacker off the field and replaced him with, in essence, a 0 as the second defensive back. There's an off-tackle run for Henry. Guessed wrong. And again, a pickup of only 4. Kind of a weak off-tackle run there, unless you hit the margins. He's got a long gain on 11. 56-yard gain on a 2 and a 48 on 3, but everything else, is 0. Gosh, boy, a 0 on a 4, a 0 on a 6, and a 3 on an 8. And even the 9 is only a 4. But he's going to keep plugging away with Derrick Henry. Inside run again. This is a better result, and that's going to move the chains. 1st down as they've made their way inside of Las Vegas territory for the 2nd time. This is their 4th drive. They have 1 field goal. Sputtering offense so far. Vegas hasn't even made their way into Ravens territory. Ravens up 3-0. Strat 28 23/24 championship. It is February 2024. It's a 28-team league, as the league moniker indicates. It's a 16-game season. We have 2 more to go. Here's a flat pass that nets 6 yards on Mahomes' card. Now, Mahomes so far, 5 of 7 for 41 yards. That pass was to Hayward, the tight end for Pittsburgh, the second tight end for Pittsburgh. They play a lot of 2 tight end sets there in Pittsburgh, and he is the second tight end there with Firemuth. Looking for Hayward again, and he gets it, 11 yards. 11 yards and another first down. That was a pass rush situation, but nothing doing there. Would have required the high linebacker to come in. Let's see, that would have been the second high linebacker. So they needed 2 linebackers to blitz there. Neither one did, apparently. So they just stayed with the 3-man front. So Aaron has been guessing pass pretty consistently here. Henry has not been able to burn him. But on this drive, Mahomes has been able to complete passes on his card. This time he doesn't. That's another flat pass attempt and an incomplete. Mahomes' flat pass card, not very good. Blanks on 4, 7, 10, a -1 on 2. A lot of Strat quarterbacks seem to have that weird reading at either 2 or 12. So I think kind of like, what Dennis tells you, Strat's kind of telling you, push the ball downfield. Inside run. Guessed right. Nice call by Aaron. That's a really big call actually now, because this will leave a 3rd and 8. Now let's see if he gets a little more aggressive here. Maybe he brings a blitz here with Reddick. He's not guarding anybody. Again, Mahomes' flat pass card is not great. So let's see if maybe he brings somebody. 3-2-6. So it's a free pass as far as a run is concerned. If he thought about doing Mahomes and maybe trying to get past the contain, and it's a quick out pass to Connor Hayward, and nothing doing there as he left the defender home. So a good call. Had he not left him home, it would have been a 20-yard pickup and another first down. So now we are looking at a 48-yard field goal, and McManus puts it through, and Baltimore extends their lead to 6-0. So 3 points in the first quarter and 3 points to open up the second quarter. And now the Raiders will have their 4th possession, and that's going to be a lousy kick return. Nothing much he could have done about it. He had to pick it up. He had to pick it up at the 4, a short kick, and he only got 11 yards. But that's the difference. 12 gets you 11 yards. 2 would get you a touchdown. So maybe he'll run into snake eyes next time. But in the meantime, cruddy field position here on their 4th drive. ATN has been super quiet so far. Off tackle run. And they're keying ATN, so this isn't going to go anywhere. About the only thing you can hope for is something on the defensive card that's not going to be a huge loss or a potential fumble. So a loss of 1, 2nd down and 11. Let's see if he goes back to ATN here. Again, 3-4 set for Zeb. Super strong up front, 6'6", and now it looks like he's brought in a 4. He did. And Wise is a pass rusher. He brought in Wise, didn't matter on this play. Pick up a 5 on a flat pass. And so now it's a manageable 3rd and 5. Again, linebacker contain in play. So they're going to go too tight, and Zeb is going to counter 3-3-5. Yeah, so he puts Wise in there. I played him earlier this year, and he had a sack against me. So Wise checks in. He's a 4-8 on the outside. No safety blitz. He has 2 competent blitzers there on the outside. Chances are, I bet you they leave him at home. Double teaming likely. Good call. Likely not able to make the reception. And for the 4th time in 4 possessions, the Raiders are going to kick this one away. So Baltimore early on dialed in defensively. Keep in mind they received the opening kickoff, so the Raiders will get the ball in the second half. That's a pretty decent punt return to the 49. That was Berrios. Lots of fair catches, but if he does return, it's not a bad return card. Chances are you're going to get 10 out of it. So good field position here on Baltimore's 5th possession of the half. I formation again, you see Ricci there as the blocking back. 0-3 pass blocker. 0 run, 3 pass block. There's a run up the middle, pickup of 7. And give him a little more because they vacated that looking pass zone. So 17 yards for Henry. And a first down at the 34. McManus already has 2 field goals. And they already are in field goal range for a gentleman from Denver with a big leg. So Baltimore looking good here. I like his odds for picking up a score that could extend this to 2 scores. So these 2 clubs did meet in the regular season. It was an overtime game. The Raiders winning 23-17 on a pass reception by Travis Etienne from Justin Herbert. But so far, offensively, they've not been able to get anything going. There's a sideline pass. It's good, and it's on the D card. And with the white die 5, the defender in the zone reading nets a big gain of 17. Again, Mahomes not a super strong flat pass card, but not much of you can do about it if you hit that. If you hit that 7 on the D card. Now, the Raiders today do have a very good pass defense card, and that also translates well to the flat pass card. Does increase your chance for an interception. Oh, wow. Good call there from Aaron. 2 in the zone. And it's going to be a loss of 2. Not much good on that card, including a straight-up interception at 3. Kind of a bad break, actually, if you think about it. That could have been a defender reading. It was a defender reading, and it could have been... No, actually, I'm reading that wrong. I thought that was +4 -2. So I guess technically it was a break. Technically, it was a break for Baltimore, basically. So, oh, no, they did lose 4 on that play. Sorry, I thought they only lost 2. So, yeah, 4-yard loss there for Baltimore. It's not going to push them out of field goal range, but maybe it gives the Raiders a better shot. There's another good break for Aaron as they're not able to get to the quarterback. a 0 sack chance there, as it came up with it was Aaron Darnold, who was a 6 going up against a 5. So no chance of a sack there. But Zeb did not catch a break on the dump-off pass. 0 men in zone, it was a 3. Defender 2 or 8 picks up 2. So now it's 3rd and 12. An important stop here for the Raiders if they can get it. You don't want to go down 2 touchdowns here. If they could keep this to 3, it'd be 2 scores, but it'd be a more manageable 2 scores. 3rd and 12, no blitz here, 3-3-5 defense. Zeb has brought a 3rd wideout. He's going to throw to Christian Watson. He's not being double teamed. There's 4 men in the zone, and it is incomplete. 3 men in the zone would have given him a receiver reading, but instead, 4 is incomplete. And wow, there is a huge break for Oakland as McManus shanks the kick. 2 through 10 and 12, it would have been good, and it winds up being, 2 through 9 and 12, 10 and 11, no good. So 5 out of 36 chances of this kick going awry, and it did. 12%, thereabouts, 12 or 13% chance of missing it. And so big break here for the Raiders. Now, they will get the ball to begin the second half. Would love to grind out a drive here. Heck, they'd like to make it past the 50. At this point, they've not been able to even do that. Really need a big chunk play from ATN. Zeb is bringing some heat. He's bringing 2 linebackers here. And another incomplete pass. So a 0% sack percentage there. Didn't look like. Okay. 2nd down and 10. Crossing pattern pass. And another incompletion. It's now 3rd down and 10 for the Raiders. So they caught a huge break here with a shanked field goal from deep inside of their own territory, but they're 1 play away from another 3 and out. Herbert is 2 of 6 so far in this contest. Vegas has not converted on a 3rd down. They're 0 for 3 so far. A screen pass to the left. There is a player there, and that's not going anywhere. And it's 4th down. So once again, Baltimore with some terrific defense. There was actually a sack opportunity there, apparently. So 1st and 10, ball at the 29-yard line. 6-0. Baltimore up. Again, the Raiders will get the kick here in the 3rd quarter. Fourth kick for 47 yards. So that's 4 drives now, nothing doing. for the Raiders. Here comes Baltimore. I said it was their 5th drive. This is their 5th drive. They've scored 2 field goals, put themselves in position to hit a 3rd field goal and missed it. Defender X reading with 4 men in the zone. That's a pickup of 13 and a first down. Ball is now at their own 42. Mahomes is 11 of 15 for 78 yards. That was another reception from that blocking back that no one knows, named Ricci. That's 2 catches now for 24. Back in the I formation that we've seen pretty much throughout the entire contest. 5:24 on our running clock. Zeb is up 6-0. Here's a run for Henry. Center is not able to make the block 10 or 2. But he's a 0, so it's automatically going to default to the lesser number. It's only 2 yards. Oakland doesn't feel the need to bring up anybody if that center is a 0, although he has 5s at both sides on the guards. Aaron has been pretty content to just let it go and let the 5 take care of business. Again, a 6, 5, 6 across the middle. Must run. Mahomes is going to sneak out and pick up some nice yards. In fact, he gets a first down, 8 yards on the play. Really nice must run card for Mahomes. 2 through 8 picks up some decent yardage, all the way to 7 yards on 8 and a max of 20. There's an 18, a 15, 16, and a 15. First deep target of the game and a successful double team as Watson unable to make the reception. There was a sack possibility there, and it was Brown. So 2nd down and 10. Screen pass. Caught. Henry, 5 yards. 3rd down and 5. Ball to 43. .318 to go. Ravens have it at the Raiders' 43-yard line, already up 6-0. Zeb Strong and his 13-3 Raiders against Aaron's 14-2 Raiders. Ravens, Raiders. Button hook pass. 0 men in zone as he vacated the... No, he didn't vacate the zone. That was a white dice 6. So that was a nice break for Zeb. And they once again have made their way into field goal range. 2:42 to go here in the first half. Baltimore up 6-0. Said with all 3 timeouts, the Raiders with all 3 of their timeouts. So here pretty soon they might be thinking about calling a timeout here. A quick out. 7-yard gain. Again, Mahomes does not have a great flat pass card, but he's been rewarded by some lucky rolls on the D card. The most recent was a white dice 6. 0 men in zone, even though there was a guy standing there. I guess it just didn't matter that had the invisible man there at middle linebacker, but that's the rule. Unless you have a 6 standing there. In the attempt to increase a little bit more offense, they basically introduced a white die 6 rule so that any flat pass puts 0 men in zone. And again, it's just not much you can do about it. If you put 2 in that zone, the rule does not apply. Second down and 3. Let's see if we see a steady diet of Henry now. Ball at the 18. There is an inside run for Henry. Defense guesses pass, and he will pick up the first down. Ball now at the 12 after that 6-yard gain, and we've made our way to the 2-minute warning. So Baltimore clearly has the more effective offense here in the first half, as the Raiders have not been able to secure a first down. 0 for 4 on third downs. Just a very frustrating day for Aaron. Now, Baltimore hasn't exactly been setting the world on fire, but at least they've made their way into Vegas territory. This is their 5th drive, and on 4 of them, they have put themselves in scoring position. They have 2 field goals to show for it as they shanked a third. Easily in field goal range now. Raiders have to be thinking, let's try to get them to kick another field goal here and keep this lead down to a small 2 scores as opposed to adding a touchdown. There's a 5-yard run for Derrick Henry. So now we're only going to see runs and short passes, as the flat pass will now be taken out of the picture. This is a big series for Aaron now, and he wisely calls timeout to give his team a shot no matter what's going to happen here with this drive. But there is a chance for Baltimore to get a first down without actually getting a touchdown. They're 5 yards away from that and 7 yards from pay dirt. Well, we have a timeout here. There we go. It took a little while. You wondered if maybe the game was frozen. So for the first time in the game, we now see a full house backfield. And that's Madison, the running back for the Minnesota Vikings. Checks into the game for the first time. So now those 5s are elevated to 6s. The 4s are elevated to 5. And even Kuzenberry and Hayward, the 0s, they get numbers. They'll be 4s. So I think this is the first time we've seen a safety blitz from the Raiders. They've moved everybody up to the line. Let's see if he moves his free safety up or he keeps it 3 back there. Watson is the lone receiver. Inside run, defense guesses run, and that is Madison. That's his first carry. Two linebackers in the zone, and he's still able to sneak in and get 2 yards there. And it's now 3rd and 3. Oakland will call another timeout. So 1:45 to go. Back to the full house backfield. Christian Watson is guarded by a 4 on the outside. Everybody up on the line. All eyes on the free safety. I have Mahomes in another league and had a situation just like this. Guessed wrong, pass, interception. So it's awful tempting. Guessed right on Mahomes' card is almost instantly going to be a touchdown. Very minuscule interception opportunity as well. But if it's on the D card, and especially on a very good defensive card, and that's who I faced, that's exactly what happened. Inside run, defense calls run, and he picks up 2. So the Raiders will call timeout to knock this down to 1:37. So decision time for Zeb. 4th and 2. on the Raiders 4. Does he take the 3? He is not. He is absolutely going for it here. So a huge moment in this game. I formation, full house backfield. So full house backfield. 4th and 2 from the 4. One more chance for Aaron to make what would in essence be an enormous stop. The game could break here. Very easily, Baltimore can go up by 2 touchdowns. All right, a curl pass. Defense guesses run, and it is caught. A touchdown, and it would have been good either way. It would have required a double team, and it did not. So Christian Watson hauls it in for his second reception of the game. Mahomes, 15 of 20 now for 112 yards. Zeb is not going to go for 2 here and instead extend this lead to 13-0 with 1:22 to go here in the first half. So the good news is you have an elite quarterback like Justin Herbert under center. The bad news is they've not seen the 50 and they've not had a first down conversion in this first half. So a lot of work to do. Zeb decides not to go 3-3-5 and instead stays with his 3-4 and does not call a blitz. He does have a 6 on the back end. A draw play, and that's going to net 5, but it's also going to run the clock down to a minute. So they're in the hurry up, and that'll shave 15 seconds off of what ordinarily would be a 37-second play. But maybe looking to go outside, perhaps? Or he's just looking for that big chunk play. ATN off tackle. If he hits one of those barbells, those 212s, he can flip the field. Because there's no way he's going to be calling. There goes, let's see, an off tackle draw. Oh my, the nose tackle makes the play. So now let's see if the Ravens choose to be bold here and call timeout. 3rd and 5 with the ball at the 30. I think not. I think they're going to let it go, and they do. They're not going to get greedy. Not going to give Raiders a chance to convert this first. And give Justin Herbert 3 more catches. Now, 3rd and 5. So, of course, linebacker containment becomes a bit of an issue here. You could go to the right and maybe get past that 4. No blitz here, 3-3-5. It's a draw play. Better hope this is on the D card. Oh, my. There is the barbell run. There's the 48. But the middle linebacker is able to make the play. And, I wonder if Zeb just forgets it here and just says, you know what, let's go to the half up 13-0. He's thinking about the timeout. And he does, I think, the right thing. So on 4th down with 1 second to go, at this point, the Raiders can just throw a bomb or take a knee or maybe run ATN one more time. I think ATN has a pretty fair number of carries. So maybe you take one more crack at it. But here at the 32, he needs 68 yards, and there's nothing on that card that ATN can get that would give him a touchdown. So maybe you just take the knee, preserve the carry, go into the half, regroup, and try to trim this 13-0 lead. I would think this would be a... So KJ Hamler, who specializes in long gains, flat pass to him, and it doesn't pick up anything. Basically 0 man in zone. And that's going to end the half. So a fantastic performance by Baltimore as it took nearly 30 minutes for Vegas to get a first down. Baltimore dominating on defense, doing just enough on offense, and they are up 13-0 in this Final Four competition. At the end of the broadcast, we will reveal the team that these two clubs are looking to play for the Strat-o-matic championship. And they're going to go straight to it. So a touchback, and hopefully Vegas can figure out how to solve this smothering Baltimore defense that really hasn't been based on pass rush at all. It's all good double teams, some iffy rolls, to say the least. But you can't argue with the fact that it took them almost 30 minutes to get a first down. You have to give Zeb credit. So this is the first drive of the half, the second half for the Raiders. Both teams had 5 drives. In the first half, Baltimore scored on 3 of them. Raiders never made their way past the 50. So they're going to go super aggressive on this first play and look to attack the 4. And it's going to be a dump-off pass, and it's incomplete on Justin Herbert's card. Herbert has thrown for 13 yards. No turnovers here, just incredibly ineffective. 4 of 9 for 13 yards. Just not really throwing downfield. That was the first long pass attempt that I can recall the Raiders attempting. So 2nd down and 10. Crossing pattern pass, looking for Palmer. They were double teaming likely. And that one finds a blank too. Wow. The Raiders just can't win for losing right now. Cannot catch a break. Can't find that white die 6 on the flat pass. Can't find the dump off magic. Palmer unable to make that reception on a 7. And so now it's 3rd and 10. Three-3-5 for Zeb. No blitz. Double teaming Isaiah likely. No, they're going to likely. And they are now double teaming Palmer. Now let's see if they can convert this one. Pass rush, dump off pass, receiver, no dice again. Valdez-Scantling this time. Wow, pretty decent shot at a sack there. It would have been a 50-50 shot at a sack. And that would have been, I believe that would have been, let's see. Well, let's see. They brought Floyd and they brought Judon. So I think that would have been, it was either Floyd or Crosby. So the asterisk didn't get to him, but it would have had to have been a 97. Not much of a sack opportunity there. So once again, Baltimore will get the ball, this time in pretty decent field position at their own 44. There's a shot across the middle, and he threw into 2 men in the zone. So fortunately, that ball just flutters to the turf. That could have been a disaster. So 2nd down and 10. I had just noticed that in addition to all of those phenomenal rushers, he put in Hargrave, who's a 0-12-1 at nose tackle. I just didn't happen to notice that. So Baltimore's got pass rushers all over the place. 4 guys with asterisk pass rushes. So 2 consecutive stops now. It's 3rd and 10. Mahomes 0 for 2 on this early drive. He's 15 of 22 for 112 yards, 1 touchdown. Pedestrian when it comes to yards, but has played pretty conservatively, and no interceptions for either club. Oakland really needs that kind of a break right now. Some sort of game-breaking interception that can turn this thing around to help out their sputtering offense. 3rd and 10, no safety blitz. Here comes a screen pass. Interesting. Pretty conservative call there, and it's incomplete. It's got a pretty decent screen pass card, but it would have required a 2 to get a first down. Everything else was less than 10, and I don't see him going for it there even at midfield. So they're going to give this one back. And why not? Five possessions so far for the Raiders and literally nothing to show for it. Here comes a punt return. Be fielded at the 10. Actually, that's going to skip past him. He decides not to retrieve it, and it falls to the 2-yard line. Wow. So a 98-yard field is what the Raiders are looking at right now, trailing 13-0 to the 13-3 Baltimore Ravens. Zeb Strong looking strong defensively here as the Raiders are searching for answers. 3-3-5 defense, as it appears. The Raiders are going to go with 3 wide. So you want to be a little careful here if you're going to run. ATN has some guest right losses on his card, so he's risking a safety if he decides to go around the end. I think off tackle he would be safe. But if you're looking for one of those chunk plays, it's got to be a white die 2 or 3. A white die 1 is guessed right. And now his line takes a significant hit too. Here's a curl pass. Looking for Valdez-Scantling, and that is incomplete. Right between the numbers on Scantling. He has some nice gains. He just has holes. Second and 10, ball at the 2. Boy, if Baltimore can stop them here, you know they're going to have good field position. And the opportunity to go up 3 scores, ooh, wow. Or maybe even pump this thing up to at least 16. It'd make life a lot more difficult. Off tackle run, defense guesses pass. There are linebackers in both of those zones. But this time it's on ATN's card, so finally the Raiders catch a break as ATN picks up 12. Oh, excuse me, that was Joshua Kelly. So Kelly with the run, pickup of 12. Kelly had a nice year. This was a nice 1-2 combination. ATN with over 1,500 yards rushing, but Kelly, I believe, had close to 400 or 500 too. So a nice little change of pace off the bench. And again, you got that short gain on 3, 6, and 7. But then past that, you see all the rest of those numbers. Not a lot of stuff that's going to really scare you. 7-yard run for ATN. So on Kelly's card, he has a short gain off tackle on 6 and 7. You see ATN has a 1 and a 4 on 6 and 7, numbers that you're going to see, more often than not. But he doesn't have that barbell card, that dynamic 62-yard run and the 48-yard run, if you're able to hit those numbers on the outside. So 2nd and 3. Screen pass, defense guesses pass. There's nobody over there, so that's going to be a pickup of 22 yards. And for the first time in this game, the Raiders have actually made their way to their own 40, much less the 50. But, hey, progress is progress, so it's good for the Raiders to put together something here. Plenty of time left in this game, but this is a pretty important drive. I think they've done a fine job of holding Baltimore to 13, but it's probably going to take 21 points to win this game. I believe it's going to take 21 points to win this game. So this is kind of an important one. Here's an off tackle And the defense guesses run. Great call. Loss of 2. And that was Kelly who had checked into the game. Had it not been called run, it would have been a short gain. So 2nd and 12. Off tackle run. Oh, it's on the D card. Hey, but he's able to manage to get 5. All right, so now it's 3rd and 7. So it's a little bit more manageable. 3:17 here on the East Coast. It's a beautiful day here in Eastern Kentucky. It's February Sunday afternoon. Hope you are happy and safe and blessed wherever you are. It's 55 degrees here in Eastern Kentucky. And let's say about a month, we'll start seeing the trees budding. Not had a lot of snow, fortunately. Had snow a couple of weekends ago, but about 1 inch, and it wasn't warm enough. The roads were too warm to really do much of anything. It was just a pretty snow. Had snow around Christmas, and that's been it. Pretty light winter here in our tri-state. Crossing pattern pass. He's looking for Palmer, and he is double teamed, and that pass is incomplete. So progress there. They made their way to the 44. And so now this punt should at least drive Baltimore back to deep in their own territory. So this is going to help at the very least. It's some nice progress there on that drive for Aaron, but unfortunately he's going to have to give it up. That was, again, Baltimore's call there. They called a run. That would have been a short gain, and instead it was a loss of 2, and they played from behind the sticks. Ooh, wow. Okay, so he decided not to take it, and it bounced 12 yards into the end zone. Had that hit a 2 instead of a 12, wow, that's the second time that's happened now. So we would have had some fireworks here on a return. So I can't remember which team it was, but a 2 was a touchdown. I don't remember. I think it was a punt return. And had that been a 2 instead of a 12, it would have been a fumble. Baltimore trying to play conservatively and lightly. So the ball was at the 2, but it would have been a bad bounce. It would have bounded off of the return man and could have been a fumble. So 2nd and 4 after that 6-yard run for Derrick Henry, who kind of has that Travis Etienne card, kind of similar there, off tackle. And run. And he's going to be stopped in the backfield, a loss of 1. It's now 3rd and 5. So that was Mahomes. That was his second run. He had a must run, so he still has 2 end runs to go. There were no linebackers there. That would have been a good call on his card. I believe that would have been a short gain. Let's see. Yep. 10 would have been a short gain. Oh, that's an 11. Sorry. Would have been a pickup of 6. Would have been first down. And now it's 3rd and 5. So there's a short pass. 3 men in the zone. Defender X reading. And it is complete for a first down. And that was to Connor Hayward. Connor Hayward defended by a 0. That's that outside linebacker, Hassan Reddick. And for Hayward, that is his 7th reception of the game for 53 yards. So picking on Hassan Reddick over there. Receiver double teamed, and it's caught anyway. Completion of 12 yards and another first down. That one goes to Watson. That's his third catch. 28 yards. He has the lone touchdown of this contest. And the Raiders, again, have made their way into Vegas territory. Ball to 47 with 6:18 to go. Patrick Mahomes under center, the I formation that they've run for probably 90% of this contest. Here is an end run for Mahomes. And again, bad luck. It's on the D card, so he has only one more of those left. Ball to 46, just on the outskirts of McManus field goal range. A field goal would put this thing up to 16. 4 men in the zone, incomplete. Would have been a receiver reading with 3 in the zone. Pass was intended for that fullback, Ricci. So back to the 3 wide set. Now let's see if Henry is a decent... not really. He's a two blocker here. So let's see if Reddick comes again. Maybe he slides 5 to the 5 to the outside. He does not. Instead, he's double teaming Hayward here, and that is a reception and a first down on Patrick Mahomes' card. Wow, when it rains, it pours. No real pass rush there to speak of, and now Tyler Lockett makes his third reception of the game. It's 26 yards for him and another first down. So from here, we are looking at a plus 50-yarder for McManus. Wow, they're bringing a bunch here now. Here's a hitch pass. Nobody's there. A pickup of 9. So the penalty die came up, so that's not a pass rush situation. So it's 2nd and 1. 4:12 to go. 13-0 for Baltimore. Both these clubs are vying for the shot at the Strat-o-matic championship, which will be played this week, and we will reveal the team that one of these two clubs will be playing for that championship. Madison has checked into the game. He's been in a couple times in some goal line situations. Now he checks in with the ball resting at the 27. 4:12 on a running clock. Quarterback sneak for Mahomes. And a big pickup for Mahomes as he runs up the middle for a first down. How many did he pick up there? 20 yards. So that would have been a 33-yard gain for a quarterback who had a gain of 33 yards, but Mahomes' max on the year was only 20. And God, what a bad break that was. A 5 was defending it. The only thing that gets past him is a 6, and there's only a few nose tackles in the NFL who could have stopped that. I wonder if he would have given the ball to Madison if he would have scored there. But either way, there's a pitch. Defense guesses run. And the defensive end, Aaron Donald, is able to make the play. So it's 2nd down and goal from the 9. I formation. You have to think a run here for Derrick Henry. I would imagine just Aaron could be double teaming at least one receiver here. Got to be calling pass here. So maybe Zeb tries another end run. Maybe Mahomes one more time. Maybe around the right. There's your pitch out. Oh, but the dreaded 5 comes up. And dreaded indeed as he loses a ton of yards on that play. Huge loss of 8. And so a nice break there for Aaron as he looks like they might be able to keep this to a 2-score lead unless they can convert on this 3rd and 17. I think Zeb would just be content to get the field goal here. I don't know how crazy he's going to be in trying to collect a first down here. Maybe he just throws a flat over there to Reddick's side again. And I could see Aaron basically moving somebody up to try to flood that flat, maybe even flood both flats. Because it can play 3-3-5 here, why not take one of those guys in the 4-man in the zone and flood both of those flats? And just say, look, if you're going to do an end run, but you're not going to get past my... The only way he does is get past the 4. Maybe he breaks contain. Mahomes does have one more end run. Off tackle draw. It is a short gain, and it's a pickup of 20. But he's not going to be able to get past the contain as the linebacker is able to make the play. And so now, again, decision time here for Zeb. 4th and 2. This was gifted to him. He's just going to go ahead and take what, in essence, is a 19-yard field goal. Awfully tempting, though, to go for it here. But he is going to be content to take the easy 3, and McManus does so. So they are up 16-0 now. Got to be thinking, hey, I've kept this offense outside of my side of the 50. I'll take my chances with a 2-touchdown lead and 2 2-point conversions. I said at the beginning, I felt like 21 was required to win this game. I might have to eat my words here. It's going to take an awful lot for the Raiders to start putting together some offense that's going to get to 3 touchdowns with, in essence, 60 minutes and 30 seconds to go. It's going to require a turnover for sure. Now, Vegas doesn't have to be super aggressive and just start throwing the ball down the field and hoping for the best. There's still plenty of time. But they're looking at maybe 3 drives, maybe 4 max. So this is a super, super important one to get some points. Baltimore is bringing a lot of heat here, a pickup of 6 on that Travis Etienne run. That's 10 carries for 17 yards. So a disappointing day. And Baltimore's had something to do with that. This haven't all been bad rolls. Baltimore has made some effective run calls that have limited Etienne. A couple of stops behind the line of scrimmage that, in essence, killed some of these drives. Impressive so far. Not exactly the strongest pass defense here when you've got 2 4s. And a 4 guarding your, no, actually that's a 5. A 5, it was defending the running back. Now, Kelly was in there, and they threw another flat pass. It was a white die 6, 0 men in zone, but he doesn't get one of those chunk 20 or 30 plays. Instead, he gets the defender 2 or 8, but fortunately, it's a pickup of 8 because the white die was 6. So that's almost always an automatic 8. So he'll take it. A flat pass. Defense gets run there, interestingly, and ball now at the 49. So they are on the cusp of making their way into enemy territory for the first time in the game. Having said that, it's taken them 3 quarters to do it, as we are now entering the 4th quarter, and the Raiders are trailing the Ravens 17-0. It also took Justin Herbert 3 quarters to get to 50 yards passing. He's now 7 of 16. So Etienne's not doing it on the ground. Herbert's not doing it through the air. Ravens are bringing a lot of heat here. It doesn't amount to much. It's a flat pass. It's right because they brought a lot of men. There was nobody over there, I believe, to defend it. 5-yard pickup. And as we mentioned, for the first time, The Raiders have made their way into Baltimore territory. So they had a decent drive on their last possession that fell short at the 44th. So maybe the Raiders are starting to figure things out here. All right, they flood that left flat, curl pass to Valdez-Scantling. There we go. There's your pickup of 14 yards and a first down. So the D reading was on that card. So that should have been a potential pass rush situation. No, it's a blank. Sorry. Let me pull back here. Oh, a bomb. Defense guessing pass. Defense is double teaming elsewhere. Now here is a 6-yard pickup, on the dump off pass. There was a sack opportunity there. 35. 1 to 35 would have gotten it. The random number was a 77. And that was Roquan Smith. Smith is not able to get to it. So 5-yard pickup, second down and 5. Quick out right, and they have flooded both of the flats. Please be on Justin Herbert's card. My card, your card. Let's see. Receiver reading. It was guessed wrong, so they were hedging their bets. And that's going to be a completion. That's going to be a fumble. Hurst fumbles the ball, and oh, wow. And Baltimore has recovered. What a promising drive for the Raiders, but it falls short here at the 13. Gosh, what a terrible break. Mercy. Terrible, terrible break. Great drive. So that builds some momentum. So on the first play from scrimmage, there is a completed pass guessed wrong on Mahomes' card. 15 yards to Watson. That's his 5th catch now for 52 yards. Mahomes with 174 yards. He's been pretty effective today. 20 of 29, 1 touchdown pass. And again, both these clubs, until that last drive, it avoided the turnover bug. That's not a bad game on a very good pass defense. Not bad. There's a run, but the defensive end, 6, is able to stop it, and it's only a gain of 2. That was Myles Garrett. Mahomes has not been sacked. In fact, neither of these two teams have had a sack. There is a run for Henry, and courtesy of a great block by the offensive tackle, there is a first down. And Henry is closing in on 100 yards. Workman-like performance here, literally perfectly. 4 yards a carry, 22 carries for 88 yards. 11:06 to go, ball to 38. Baltimore up 16-0. Do not see a lot of shutouts in these league formats, especially those with the dump-off pass. So very impressive performance by Baltimore. There's a run that gets nothing. It's second down and 10 from the 38. And that was Madison. So that's 3 carries. Now, Derrick Henry should have a fair number of carries remaining. I've got a weird situation where I put my mouse on top and it just flashes for about 1/100th of a second. Flare pass left. 1 man in zone, and that man is a 4. And wow, boy, he's gotten a few of those rolls. That's another defender reading where the 4 is not able to make the play. It's a white die 5. And with consistency, Baltimore has been able to drive into Vegas territory. This is another one where they've made their way to the 44. And again, that clock keeps moving. 9:54 to go here in the fourth quarter. Baltimore is closing in on the opportunity to play for the Strat Championship, Strat 28 Championship. Now, I am looking at a sheet that has indicated that Zeb has actually won this championship game. I don't believe the spreadsheet has been updated for a while, so I don't know who the last 2 champions were. But Zeb has been here before. He does have one of these Strat 28 championships. 2nd and 7, ball to 41 after that 3-yard pickup by Madison. Nice job, Las Vegas, there, bottling up the middle. But Madison is still able to pick up 3. Actually, that was Henry on the carry. That was his 23rd. 91 yards for Derrick Henry. 3rd down and 4. This is an enormous stop for the Raiders. If they don't stop them here, they're going to continue to munch more time off the clock, and eventually they're going to be in field goal range. Right now, it's an iffy one at 55. There's a curl pattern pass. It's guessed wrong, and that is a first down. Completed pass to Christian Watson, a gain of 10. And with 8 minutes to go, again, moving clock. Baltimore in the catbird seat here, already up 2 scores and 2 big scores there at 16. They're now in field goal range with the opportunity to extend this lead even further. Got to see some fumbles here. Maybe some keys, anything to scratch and paw at that ball and try to pry it away. Madison up the middle, no gain. Kind of a dangerous proposition here when you're facing Mahomes. But remember, you do have that very good pass defense. So there's that slight increase of an interception. Even if you call it wrong and it's on the D card, you've still got a chance. But you have to think now, Baltimore's going to play pretty conservative here. Lower that risk, already up 2 big scores. Anything they can do to push it forward and give them a chance at a field goal that, in essence, would put this game away. A crossing pattern pass. Defense guesses pass. There's the interception. Split. Oh, it's incomplete. Wow. Oh, my goodness gracious. That could have been a complete disaster. That would have been a complete disaster. So Zeb is counting his lucky stars after that call. Oh, my. Wow, and just think had it been a double team. So Zeb playing a little dangerously here, 3-3-5. I can't imagine him doing that again. You have to think Derrick Henry draw, off tackle run here, line buck, just something safe just to put this ball in the middle of the field and get a field goal. I'd be shocked if he put this ball up. 3-3-5, kind of inviting a run. There it is, off tackle draw for Henry, but it's a white die 1, so no gain. So this is not a gimme, a 45-yard field goal here for McManus. But if he puts this one through, it's all go to, you basically can punch Baltimore's ticket. They'll be up 19. And there it goes. So on the road, Zeb puts up 19 against the Raiders, but more impressively, no points for Las Vegas, who's going to have to put this offense into high gear. 2 successful drives, yardage-wise at least. The last time they made their way all the way inside the the Ravens 20, only to fumble it away. And that was Hurst, the second tight end, who made a nice catch on a guessed wrong call and subsequently fumbled the ball. The Ravens took over and actually converted it into a clock chewing up clock, a clock munching, if you will, a clock eliminating drive. There is a flat pass. Linebacker in the zone is able to make the play. It's only a pickup of 1, and tick, tick, tick. 5:42 to go. Ravens have to start chucking this deep. 3-3-5, which they can play now that the lead has been extended. Actually, with the 3 wide set, I think it's 5 minutes to go. Off tackle draw. It's wrong. It's only a pickup of 5. Looking for a 2 or looking for a 12. And he didn't get either. .506. Now they just have to worry about getting this third down. They're going to stay 3 wide. Oh, you got that risky 1 white die. Oh, and it's intercepted. A man stayed in the zone. Not much of an interception chance there, but he pulls it down, and that's pretty much going to do it. 4:48 to go. Zeb needs to take a little bit more time off the clock, and you can punch your ticket. Baltimore has made it to the Strat-28 finals, and they will be taking on the Los Angeles Rams. So it will be a matchup. How about this, folks? It'll be Patrick Mahomes up against Josh Allen. Play it again, Sam. 2 of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL are going to match wits for a Strat championship. Again, I don't have an updated spreadsheet. I'm sure Dennis will tell us, but Zeb does have a championship. And for the Los Angeles Rams, I say Los Angeles Rams, it's the Cleveland Browns. So the Cleveland Browns are making their way to a championship. And it's me. I know my own team name, I swear. I have changed the team name several times since joining the league. Initially, it was Tampa Bay, and we moved the team to Cleveland. And it'll be my first appearance in the Strat Championship. Zeb has played in this championship and won, and we'll wait for Dennis to tell us how many times Zeb has actually played for a title. So it's going to be quite a challenge playing who I believe to be one of the best Strat coaches across the stratosphere. It'll be a fun matchup. Both clubs have elite pass rushers. My team does. His team does. He's got a good running back in Derrick Henry. I've got a good running back in Miles Sanders. Good wide receivers on both of these clubs too. Mike Williams for me, and Devonta Smith as well. I think our teams are mirror images of each other. We both, I believe, finished 13-3 for the regular season. So, wow, that's going to be quite a challenging matchup. Either one of these would have been great matchups. And unfortunately for the Raiders today, they just could not get it going offensively. So some nice calls from Zeb, but the dice were just not kind to Aaron at all. So, but a fantastic season, Aaron. 14-2. That is absolutely phenomenal. And your record is very close to my record, according to that spreadsheet. So you and I had been in the middle to the bottom of the league for a long, long time. And now we made our way back up. But here's the good thing. You've got a terrific quarterback. You've got a very, very nice team. A few more additions next year, and you very easily could be right back at it with a big double-digit win season and hopefully another appearance in the playoffs. Unfortunately, this one is not meant to be. As with 2:06 to go, we're going to get through these last few plays, and we are going to give Baltimore Ravens a ticket that they can take to the Strat-28 title game, of which we do not have a name. It's just basically the Strat Championship. So Dennis Crowley founded this league years ago, and we built it from scratch back in 2016, it looks like. Of course, here's the thing. It's updated 2016. I don't know if 2016 was the year we played or it was the card set that we played with. It's hard to tell. I think this is our 7th year. I'm assuming this is going by the card set. So I think this is the 7th year. Crowley has won a championship. Nathan has won a couple of championships. He is the coach of the Los Angeles Rams. And Zeb has won a championship. And there was a gentleman who no longer is in the league named Joe Hamachi with the Dallas Cowboys, who also won a championship. There's a 4th and 7 that's going to be stopped short. So unless Vegas decides to call timeout here, I would imagine Zeb's just going to sit on this, and we're going to end this game. As that flat pass falls short. Oh, there's a fumble. Wow, a run attempt. Is this going to be a miracle in the Meadowlands situation? If it was only one score, it'd probably be a little bit more exciting. But let's see what the Raiders can do with it here. Oh, and they're not going to get much of a return at all. That's too bad. But they do get the ball back with 1:37. They have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. So, I mean, anything's possible here. But please start chucking this ball downfield and give yourself a chance. Got the card in front of the play. Crossing pattern pass to Palmer. Pickup of 12. He is not able to get out of bounds. They have the ball at the 50. Palmer isn't admittedly much of a deep threat, and you have to think that Zeb's going to start putting 2 back there. And why throw the interception? But with time running very, very short. You need a score, an onside kick, and another score, and another onside kick, or a combination of a stop with 3 plays, basically. Again, there's only a finite amount of plays that you have left. So if he moves a guy back, I guess technically you could have a 2-man in the zone. There's another one. Boy, where was Justin early on in this game? Now all of a sudden he's gotten hot. Another pass, another completion, but this one doesn't go out of bounds. Ball at the 38. They will not call timeout here. So Herbert has actually gone past the 200-yard mark. He has 1 interception in this game. 16 of 28. Baltimore bringing some heat. There's an off-tackle run. It's a draw, and it's a pickup of 7. Again, he doesn't get out of bounds. Let's see if he calls timeout here. He does not, so that's 15 seconds to go. Is he going to line up maybe for a field goal here and just get some points? 3 wide set. Herbert's under center. Does he have an end run? I always thought he did. Maybe he doesn't. And sacked. So Justin Herbert is sacked. Herbert. He does not have an end run. I think he did last year. So who got that sack? Javon Hargrave with the sack. So that's going to do it. They're going to call timeout. So again, just could not catch a roll to save his life in that first half. But a lot of great calls by Baltimore. Give him credit. Zeb is a very, very good defensive coach. But he also had he didn't have the advantage that the Raiders did with the very good pass defense. But he kept him off balance offensively, got just enough guessed wrong calls to get Henry some yards, some timely blocks too, as well, by his offensive line helped. But he got some guessed wrong cards on Mahomes' card. Nothing big, no big chunk plays. Not very many dynamic long bombs here in this game or anything that was over 20 yards that I can recall. So, no game breaker plays, basically. Just a terrific performance from Zeb. A great performance all year long from Aaron. So congratulations to you, Aaron, a 15-3 campaign, phenomenal campaign. So congratulations. That's a great year, buddy. And this team could very easily be back in this championship game, especially with Justin Herbert. But the day belongs to Zeb and Patrick Mahomes, and they are moving on. So they are now 15-3, and they will take on the 15-3 Cleveland Browns. We will announce the game time this week. And so we hope that everybody will get a chance to join us. The game will be broadcast most likely by Dennis. But as always, this is a watch party. We don't have just one person broadcasting. So anybody wants to come in and join, obviously are welcome to. So I'm going to send a note to see if anybody wants to chat. If anybody wants to chat, I'm going to be online for a couple more minutes, period. If not, congratulations to both of you, exclamation mark. So we'll wait for just a little bit, see if anybody wants to join. And if they don't, we're going to wrap up the broadcast. So while we're waiting, let's look. There is your box score, a shutout. Just don't see that a lot in these Strat family of leagues, specifically this one. I dare say there were not very many of them. You would think if there was a shutout, it'd be from the defense, especially with like an average run and pass defensive set. That's rough. That's super, super rough. Vegas had the advantage of having a very good pass defense. You could potentially see that, but no, Baltimore dominating today. Let's see. So Zeb sent a note. Let's see if he wants to come in. Let's look at the quarterback statistics here. Patrick Mahomes, 22 of 32 for 202 yards, 1 touchdown, and of course, importantly, no interception. Justin Herbert, ice cold first half, much better second half, 16 of 28. Actually had more passing yards over top of Mahomes. He had 221 yards, threw an interception, no touchdown passes. Derrick Henry, 91 yards. Travis Etienne, super disappointing, 20 carries for only 29 yards. As you can see, no real chunk plays from the receivers. The biggest reception looks to be only 20 yards. Baltimore has a club that loves to put pressure on its opposition. Today, they only netted 1 sack, no sacks for the Raiders. One of the interesting stories, the Raiders didn't get but 1 first down in the first half, and they also didn't get a completed third down in the second half. They were 0 for 9. So basically, that's your story right there. A dominating performance defensively from Baltimore. Nothing fancy, just ball control pretty much throughout, and some very, very good calls defensively from Zeb. So a command performance, and he is going to punch his ticket, and it looks like he is in the studio. Congratulations.
Hey, Mike.
You are the Buddy Ryan of Strat-o-matic.
I wasn't expecting a game I wasn't expecting a shootout, but I wasn't expecting a shutout either.
Correct. And
he beat me in the regular season.
Yeah, I saw the box score. I guess he got you in overtime. Yeah. But
it was kind of a similar. It was a defense. Both defenses played well in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he got behind the chains in this game.
Yeah, you made a couple of very good run calls on ATN that put him behind the sticks and set him up for 10s, 11s, and 12s, which obviously are the difficult conversion. But, his is the club that had the very good pass defense, not yours. So,
yeah, well, I actually probably ran a little bit more than I did in the regular season because of that.
Yeah, it's kind of psychological. I played Dennis the same way. He had the very good pass defense, and you tend to run. Now, of course, no secret, it's going to be me and you for the finals. So now we're back to –
I was going to ask you. I didn't know you beat Dennis because you guys didn't broadcast that game.
Oh, it was like I basically climbed into the game, and whenever I had a bad roll, I fixed it. So they had a great roll. I had 4 chunk plays of 30 yards from receivers who don't ordinarily get me chunk plays. So, yeah,
you should post the box score in the just so people can see it.
Dennis has it. I'll look for it and see if I can post it myself. He silent broadcasted it. He might actually put it out there
Okay.
to see.
Yeah,
But,
I was. Aaron was asking me who I was playing. I told him I didn't know.
yeah, it's me and you, buddy.
Well, hey, look out! You beat me in the regular season too.
Yeah, I remember that one too, and that was also a game that I used my skill set of actually hacking computers.
I don't think
your and my teams are actually really similar. There's a lot of similarities on this club and my club. You and I both have really good pass rushers. Now I play a 4-3, you play a 3-4.
Mhm.
You take Hargrove off the bench in third quarter situations where I've got Payne, who will play pretty much throughout, right?
Mhm.
And you've got two good outside pass rushers. I've got two good outside pass rushers. I got a Nuasu and Yuchi, Payne and Watt. We both have good quarterbacks, although in different ways. Yours is clearly the better thrower. Mine is more of the runner. We've got two good running backs and Sanders and Henry. It could go either way. It's fun just to get here, to be honest. I've never played in this one. I've only played in one championship in my life, and that was SSFA in the spring. So
okay,
I'll take it.
Well, it'll maybe next Sunday, Mike.
I think that's fine.
We can chat throughout the week, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you know what? I tell you what, I forget. I'm gonna forget about it. I'm gonna sit there and brood about it for the whole week. I don't scout. It's like, man, whatever happens, happens. I'm glad to be here. I'd love to have a championship. I know you got a few under your belt for multiple leagues. It's just an honor to be here and to play a good coach like you. Hey, if I get it, man, I'll earn it because I'll have to beat one of the best. So we'll see. It'll be fun either way.
Well, I'll go back and probably sometime this week I'll go back and look at our game and just kind of see how it played out and see if there's anything that I would do differently. I'm sure you'll be doing the same. So that's always fun when you play somebody the second time.
Oh yeah,
to see
but please keep in mind that everything that was on that tape will be thrown out the window because I'm going to run more double reverses than you've ever seen.
Right, we are kind of limited in what we can change up.
Oh yeah, no, right. Fake punts in the second quarter. Yeah, that's happening. Don't you worry. Just. You know what? I think I'm going to start Malik Willis. That might throw everybody off. It'll be fun. Go ahead.
If I remember correctly, we both used the same pass defense in the championship game, right?
Yeah, we're both back to average.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember a long time ago in Semifa, we played the first time I ever played in the Semifa Super Bowl. I think it was against Paul Mankiewicz, and he got to use a good pass defense because he had a better record in the regular season than I did. And I actually brought that up as a proposal, and it was a little bit controversial. I mean, obviously it passed, but there was some opposition to it too. People felt that the team with the best regular season record should use a better defense even in the championship game.
I don't agree with that. The only reason why we do it is just for home field. That's it. Right. I mean, now granted, you got the better record, or he had the better record, so that's why he gets that, but not for the championship.
And it kind of gives you a little bit more, that's really the only advantage to having a better, or one of the only advantages to having a better regular season record.
Yeah.
But once you get the championship game, I would rather just see both teams playing on even footing.
I want both teams to have equal footing, and I want no pump fumbles. I want no stupid breaks or anything like that. I just want this mano a mano. All right, that's what we could both hope for.
Well, punt fumble, that's part of like late in this game, there was a couple. I could have tried to return an interception, and I just fell on it because I didn't feel like taking that. Even though it's a good chance to take on a flat pass.
So are you the one who had the 2 touchdown punt return or kick return? I can't remember which one it was. Somebody's got a touchdown on their card.
I don't in this league.
I think it was him. So he had a couple of bucks.
He had Keyshawn Nixon. He had a kick return at 2 in this game. Okay,
so that was it. So you kicked one ball to him that went to the 2. And he wound up getting a 12 that gave him like an 11-yard. You reversed that, and that could have been a touchdown. Then there was a punt return that you had that fell to the 2, and you let that go, and that was a 12. If that's a 2, it bounces off of you. So,
weird break. I think he let one punt bounce that was like I think it was at his 9 or 10.
He did, and it
bounced. And he probably should return that.
Yeah.
My rule of thumb is 7 yards.
That's
a great returner.
You know what, though? I think he was thinking Look, man, I haven't hit anything on the boundaries on Travis Etienne because he needed to hit something out there on him, and he just could not find that.
Well, talking about keeping him behind the sticks, both Henry and Etienne are a little bit chunky.
Very.
And so when you start hitting that 0 or 2, that really puts you behind. As he probably could have used Josh Kelly a little bit more in the second half.
Yeah, because he's got that weird 6-7 there in the middle, whereas you're kind of looking for the boundaries on those runs. But even toward the end of the half, he was trying to, I'm not going to throw downfield. I'm not going to risk a pick. Let's see if I can hit a 212. And it just, like I said, didn't come up for him basically. But the biggest, if I recall, I was looking at the box score right now. Do you realize that the biggest offensive play for you
was it Patrick Mahomes running up the middle?
That's exactly right. Well,
if I would have handed it to Derrick Henry, it would have been a touchdown.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if I think Madison was in there at that time, wasn't he?
Madison doesn't have a real long. I don't know what his is, but I don't think he.
I was going to look, and then his biggest play, ATN finally got a 20-yarder. That was it, and that was a reception. Yeah,
yeah, that was a grinded out game. I mean, it was 5 field goals.
3. You had a touchdown. Yeah, you had a touchdown, but
I had to go for it on 4th and goal. I mean, that was not an easy touchdown.
Were you thinking about going for it up 16-0 there at the 2 when you had that gift 17-yard run?
No
way.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's that make it a 3-score game.
Yeah. I thought, oh, man, it's almost like you almost wish it was an 8-yard game, so you don't even have to think about it, but you didn't even think about it. No, it was the right play. Now you got 2 huge 16s to go get. Go have fun with that. In essence, you're looking at 3 scores. So I told him, I said 21 was probably going to win this game, and I just didn't see by the end of the third that there was any way. I think he had the ball with like a minute left to go in the third. If there was any chance for him to get a touchdown there toward the end, it didn't look like it. But, kudos to him because – Dennis has not updated let me see if anybody else is in there. Dennis hasn't updated the cumulative spreadsheet for a while. So first of all, there's one, it basically goes to 2020. So I don't know if that's the 2020 card set or the actual 2020 season. I can't quite tell. So either he's missed 1 championship or 2 championships. I don't know. You have 1, but if you look there, if it's 21 is the season and 20 is the card set, then he's only missing, I guess, 2 of them, right? Well, no, he wouldn't have this year's. Well, I guess he could have updated. Hey, the long story short, that guy has a sub 500 record career. So I bet you this is probably the furthest his team has ever gotten. So 14-2 is a phenomenal year. It's the best record in the league.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if I would preseason. I probably wouldn't have picked him to be 14-2. But he's got. Expect to see him back.
Yeah, no question.
He coached the team well, and you look at the roster. I mean, Justin Herbert's excellent. I don't know what the running back carding is weird. Who knows what ETN will look like? But he's got some solid. He's got Justin Matabike is going to be a beast next year.
Yep.
He's got Aaron Donald. His defensive line is going to be great next year.
Yep. He needs some game-breaking wide receivers.
Yeah.
He needs some guys that could push it downfield. Palmer is not an elite receiver by any stretch. And
although he's got Isaiah Likely, who's nice. Probably won't be a game changer, but he's got some solid players there. We'll see what it seems like. Marquez Valdez-Scantling always gets scary cards, even if they're not. He's not hauling double team catches.
Yeah. You could use a second one though. So maybe next year he makes some moves. And of course, only problem is he'll be drafting from 20.
Well, that will be a problem. But he's got a good having a quarterback running back base is. Oh
yeah, no, you're ahead of the game. At that point, you just decide, do I have enough players to go for it? You eschew the draft when you're at 25, 26, 27. Maybe you find somebody there that might be able to help you. Maybe a running back falls that you want, or maybe a good wide receiver. But at that point, you start taking your 1s and 2s and padding that team and building for next year. So we'll see what he does. But hey, 14-2, that's phenomenal. I couldn't get there. Hey, I'll take my
his secondary isn't great. He won 5 and 3/4. He did a good job coaching him.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And no, so he won't get to join us on the broadcast, but if he gets a chance to hear this replay, again and again, I've said, boy, 14-2. That's, I know the disappointment. I was in autumn wind and made a good run and fell 2 points short in the finals. I was up by 1 with 2.5 to go and couldn't stop him on a drive, and it stinks. It stinks not playing for the championship. But again, 14-2.
You have Mahomes on that team?
I do, but that's a different Mahomes. My Mahomes is his evil twin brother, who is atrocious and threw, I think, 53 interceptions this year at a quarterback rating of 12. He just was. It's just a different rule set. No dump off passes. Yeah. The game is played totally different, and as well as I do, Mahomes' flat pass card is meh. All right, and so when you're going up against very good pass defenses, it's like, you got to pick and choose your spots. It's really more about getting that other team off balance and then chucking it deep every once in a while, or just basically flat passing you to death. That's just how the league is built. And unfortunately, I ran into a Joe Burrow card that just got me on that last drive. If there's any consolation, the guy actually won the whole thing. He won yesterday and beat a gentleman named Claude Turcotte, who has played in the championship 5 times and played 3 in a row, and unfortunately lost 3 championship games in a row. So, and this was his Ed Carr.
The Marv Levy of Autumn Wind.
Huh?
The Marv Levy of Autumn Wind.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Bless his heart. That is kind of sad. And he's such a good guy, too. We got a lot of Canadians in that league, actually. There's a bunch in that league. The guy who won last year, Jean Lafleur from Canada. Mark Lepage, I believe, is from Canada. And then there's a new guy who's coaching Toronto Argonauts. I think he's from Canada, too. So it's crazy that many players from that league are from Canada. That's a 30-team league. And that's kind of, I was telling everybody during the broadcast, somebody happens to stumble across this, that I kind of like this because it has the rule set of Semifinal, right? But it's a 28-team league, so it's difficult to build super teams. So every team's going to have a hole on it. Like, for example, you got a center who's going to be great next year, but you have to put up with a 0-3.
Well, I don't think he's going to be great next year.
Oh, I do. Oh, I do. Oh, I do. Yeah, okay. I made a pretty aggressive move to get him for SSFA. I trashed my team to get him. I think
it's worth trashing your team to get a top-notch center.
Yeah.
I would trade Mahomes for Jason Kelsey in a heartbeat.
What? Well, I just traded Miles Sanders for him. I think that seemed. Yeah, that's the thing about SSFA. We have a crystal ball, and it's like, well, my team's not.
Yeah. You get a lot more information.
Oh yeah. That's why Tom Cook hates that league. He hated that league because it's like, it's not fair. You got I do all this draft prep, and we got 2 years basically to see that somebody's destroyed his knee, and you don't have to pick him up, or that. Tackle who was terrible showed up out of nowhere and now all of a sudden creeps into the first round, or a running back that barely got any carries the year before now becomes like a first round pick, Kyron Williams, for example. So he always hated that. But, hey, I traded Miles Sanders, Ben Jones for Zaven Collins and Kuzenberg. I said, I don't like drafting for picks. I'd rather have players. And when the guy who I traded it with is actually the guy who won the SSFA last year. And it was one of those, it's too steep, too steep to ask. Then a couple of days before the draft, hey, is that still available? It's like, come to Papa. I'll do that. But that's going to help him. I mean, he's got, if he wants to go for the year back to back, you got to give up stuff to get stuff.
Yeah.
You just do. There was a guy who I had a 5 that was not going to see the light of day, and I'll trade him to you for Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, one of those years where he was injured and only had 11 catches, and that's hard to give up somebody like that. But they come back when they realize if I have to give up a guy who I know is going to be good, and plus you see the year that he had is going to be good. He's not going to help you this year. He's going to help you next year. But if you're going for a title, you got to make that move. I did that last year, gave up draft picks and got all the way to the finals. It's hard when you're staring at players that are going to be good, and you have to. Yeah, I mean, it's that, or you don't go for a title. You put yourself in a position to win. You've got to go for it. Well, that's what Cook always says. Either you're competing for a title or you're rebuilding. One of the two.
But you get into postseason and you can have a game like Aaron had here, just nothing goes right, and it can be over too. So
well, yeah, I was 11th in SSFA last year and played for the championship. It's the first time an 11 seed had ever gotten there. So took a little while, but that was fun. So no, this is going to be a good matchup.
What was the final score in your game with Dennis?
35-18.
Oh, so you got him pretty good.
Yeah, it was weird. Just a lot of like.
What a trade picking up Tua,
huh? Yeah, it was a super trade.
And he landed on his feet. I mean, he restocked that team quickly.
Well, you know what? And here's the thing. I mean, you can sit there and argue of whether of the fairness of that trade. I know that people were kind of grumbling about it, but let's be honest here. You're still taking a chance with this guy.
Yeah, and especially when he made that trade, nobody knew what kind of year Tua was going to have this year.
Yeah, exactly. He was one concussion away from maybe even seriously thinking about retirement.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's nothing to matter with that. I got the same haul basically for Jared Goff in Semifinal because actually Dennis was the one who convinced me to take Tua a few years ago. I wasn't sold on him. And said, if he falls to 8 or 9 or whatever it was, you have to take. You have no choice, man. You got to take him. You got to take him. So I kept Tua and traded Goff for 2 first-rounders and Caleb McGarry, the tackle for Atlanta, young tackle, pretty good. Hopefully he'll learn how to pass block. So yeah, that seemed like a fair trade. And I think he got 2 first-rounders and Cooper Rush just so we would have a quarterback. So no, I mean. But there's people here who, if they really truly felt like that wasn't a fair deal, they would have stopped it. But I've thought about it, and
somebody else could have made an offer.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So no, it's just weird to see his team with somebody else besides Russell Wilson under center.
Yeah.
That's a very unusual look. So no, I had some 3 men in this.
He's probably happy that you beat him because Russ wasn't. I mean, deep down inside, he knows that without Russ, he doesn't want to win.
Just being very honest, and this is probably not the right thing to say, when you beat Dennis, you've won your Super Bowl. I did that last year in SSFA. I had to beat Cook and him to get the right to play in that championship game. And there were half the time I wasn't even looking at the screen. I didn't even want to know what the world was happening. I didn't, because it's like I know how these guys, they just win. It's not, the dice have nothing to do with it. They have built their teams to win. And you just need some breaks. And it wasn't pump fumbles or anything like that. Just some, he went for it at midfield on a 4th and 1 and just got a cruddy dice roll. I think it was a 4th and 2. And I called pass and said, okay, I'll give it to you. And he didn't get it. And that pretty much turned the game around. A couple of long pass, 3 in the zone, snake eyes, those help, and a couple of blitzes that I caught him with 0 men in zone. And that was the end of that. He just couldn't get to my quarterback. So my line's okay. It's not great.
Those 4th down conversions are, they can be game changers.
They are.
And
that's kind of what happened to him last year.
I'm kind of always of the theory, and maybe it's cost me games before, but I feel like a lot of times if you have the better team, or you think you have the better team, maybe you got to weigh that too. Maybe sometimes you should still punt.
Yep.
And just rely on your cards. Where obviously, if you have the worst team, if you fail, you're going to lose anyways.
I think it's an ego thing when you stare at 4th and 1 and 4th and 2, and you're thinking, I got beat twice in autumn wind on a 4th and 2 short pass, guessed wrong. And what does it wind up being? Defender X reading 5. And it's like, you're kicking yourself because it's like, why did you throw to the 5, DJ Moore? Zay Jones is sitting over there on a 4. That would have been a first down.
But you got to mix it up even on 4th down, because that 4 is going to get double teamed more often too.
That's went through my mind. And then the same deal. I drove all the way to his 7, 3 men in zone, guessed wrong, interception, end zone. Okay. All right. So there's just sometimes that this just isn't going to work out. It's not.
Well, I usually try to have a pretty good idea. Based on, and this is whether it's a draft team or stock teams, like kind of like what my chances are of converting on 4th down, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 3. There's some matchups, especially with stock team leagues, where you're playing like the Baltimore Ravens, where you're going to have, even 4th and 2 might be like a 50-50 conversion. Yep. Then if you're playing the 2009 Detroit Lions 4th and 2 might be like a 75 or 80% conversion chance.
Yeah. Like you really got to force the other team to move everybody up key, and even then, it doesn't matter if it's on the D card.
Yes, some of those stock teams, like you can have 2 men in the zone, and a linebacker can still, 6 and 7 is still going to get 3 or 4 yards.
I think a lot of the players who wouldn't recognize that, because I think the majority of these draft leaguers, that's all they know, including myself. I don't play in any stock league.
So me and Dennis are both in a stock league that he runs as well. So it is a little bit interesting jumping back and forth between the two.
Well, and where I get it, to be honest, is okay. So here comes the game. Woohoo! All right. So what are you gonna do for like a month? Well, you're gonna play stock. You're going to replay the Super Bowl. You're going to play your favorite team, the Rams, and play a few games with them. And then you kind of get familiar with the stock team defensive cards, which, when I was a kid, I played this game, the card version before the electronic game came out. And I was totally familiar with how the nuances of each one of the cards, and good and excellent and poor and very poor and everything. And so, but when you play draft like constantly and you get back into that again, it's like, gee, the differences in these cards are like, they're insanely different. They're insanely different.
Well, and the amount of turnovers is, it seems like there's a far less turnovers in these leagues than there are in some of the stock leagues.
Hands down. Yeah. It's tough to generate them. And it's weird too, because when you see some teams that wind up having a whole bunch more interceptions, especially when you're on like average defense, you just know that's luck. I mean, a lot of that's just plain luck. Simple as that. Yeah. So, and that's kind of that's why some of these teams, when they have like a halfway decent season, it's a bit of an aberration that maybe, just a statistical anomaly made a difference for a club to get to. I'm not saying Vegas's team was bad, but you replay the season again, and maybe Aaron wins like 11 games, and then another one he wins 15. You just never know. There's just so much luck that's involved in this, even over a 16-game, season. Yeah. So, I feel bad. I would have liked to have seen him get a couple of scores here and at least make it close, but that just wasn't meant to be. And you kind of called run exactly when it needed to happen. So you deserved it, buddy. It'll be a fun game. It'll be a fun game. Yeah, let's talk about next Sunday getting together and playing it.
Okay, I'll plan on that unless I hear otherwise.
Okay, all righty. Well, enjoy your week.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
All right, thank you.
Hey, good job against Dennis. Congrats.
Yeah, boy. Eventually, he'll hopefully he'll look at it. I don't know that I've got anything else on tape.
Okay,
just go back and look at that box. I'm not going to watch this game.
Just even looking at the box score is always interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, if he soft broadcasted, you should look at it. So we'll all have equal footing on this. But I don't replay the games. Trust me, I don't. Right. Whatever happens next week happens next week. So, but it'll be fun either way, and it'll be an honor to play you. So you have a blessed week, and we will run into you next week. Okay.
Good talking to you, buddy.
Take care, Zeb. Okay, well, there is your champion. So there were two clubs who are going to meet sometime next week. That would be the Cleveland Browns, and that would be the Baltimore Ravens. And there's just some irony there, right? Cleveland and Baltimore. So there's a bad blood between these two clubs. Not really. Zeb's a great guy and a superior coach, and he's won leagues in all the different families of Semifa, and so it's going to be a tall order. But it'll be fun nonetheless. So there is your final score. Congratulations to Zeb, and congratulations to Aaron for his phenomenal year. That ends today at 15-3. That's a killer year. But Zeb's going to move on, and he will finish. Let's see. Now he will be 15-3 now as well. The Cleveland Browns, I believe, are 15-3 too. Again, it's a matchup of really good pass rushers on both clubs. Both clubs have good secondaries. He plays a 3-4. I play a 4-3. He is led by Patrick Mahomes. I am led by Josh Allen. We both have a good wide receiver set. He has Derrick Henry. I have Miles Sanders. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a fun game. So thank you for joining me on this broadcast. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. So thank you again for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will catch you all next week. Final score, 22-0, Baltimore over Las Vegas. They will play in the Strat-o-matic finals next week against the Cleveland Browns. Be blessed, everybody. God bless. Be safe. We'll talk to you soon.